Hello, everybody. We're back here for a special project for the Service Slate Way. This is Jackie Benitez,
Hey.
and she actually has a son who is high functioning autistic.
Yes.
Recently we did a photo shoot, and we were focused on different aspects that have to do with autism awareness. So, Jackie, I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for
So,
having me.
Tell us about your son.
Wow, Benjamin. Well, he goes by Ben Ben
Okay.
because of his name, Benjamin, and then Benitez. When he was in school, he couldn't spell the whole name, so he just put Ben Ben, and so that name has stuck with him. Benjamin is a high function 19-year-old kid. He just got his first job at PetSmart, which he is very excited about. He does better than my other two by waking up early for work.
Wait, he just started?
He just
Give me
started.
time.
I don't know. But other than that, Benjamin isn't your typical a kid with autism.
Okay.
And that is what Weisskopf told us. Most kids with autism, they do not like the comfort. They don't like anything. They don't like people touching, among other things. With Ben, it's always been, I've always cuddled him.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to snuggle. And so with that being said, he is fine with hugs. He is fine with people getting close to him. He will let you know, he will tell you, get out of my face.
Okay.
He will. But other than that, he's amazing. He is truly amazing.
Now I remember him from the fashion show,
Yes.
and so you couldn't really tell that he was autistic in any way from there. So I mean, do you think that makes a difference in how he is?
Yes. Unfortunately, with kids with autism, you can't really tell.
Mm-hmm.
That they could look like you and I.
Yes.
You could never tell, but once you get to know them, you could actually tell of how they talk. They don't like to look straight in the eyes. If you ever talk to a kid with autism, their eyes are like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he is. But yes, you're right. You'll never know he has those characteristics. When he runs with a lot of kids with autism, when they run, they flap their arms.
Mm-hmm.
And he still does that. And I still get a kick out of it. When it comes to sensory issues, we do not go to the movies.
Okay.
Because it's too loud for him. So that's the one thing that was really hard to do because I would want to go as a whole family. And with that, I wasn't able to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay because we figured out we'll get the movies on DVDs and watch it at the house. So we're fine with that. When it comes to video games, if it's like you or another person or any type of kid, they take their time with video games. With Ben, we don't buy new video games with him. We go to GameStop or we'll look online that are used games because he's done within 1 week. Yes. The one game he has not mastered to get done through is Minecraft.
Okay.
Because Minecraft you have to build.
Yeah.
You build everything. So Minecraft has been around for a very long time in our house, and it feels good.
To have at least something that's just kind of
Yes.
not going out.
Yes. He has a schedule. He goes by his schedule. He knows he has chores. So the one thing we do give to Ben is he empties out the dishwasher and puts dishes in. But there's a trick to that. We ran out of soap, and he put dish soap in. We came home. My house was bubbly.
Your house was bubbly?
Bubbly. And we looked at him, he goes, but you guys do. I go, but I put a drop, not. So he watches, so he thinks that if we do it, it's okay.
Mm.
But guess what? All we could do was just laugh.
He tried?
He tried. But like with Ben, I try to tell people every kid with autism is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Their mindset's completely different. They're very blunt.
Yes, they are.
They're very blunt. But he could never hurt a fly. He doesn't, animals are his things. He actually likes animals more than he likes people.
Not if they had choice.
He loves to cook.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can he throw down? He's good with lunch and breakfast. And when I mean he could throw it down, he could make pancakes, bacon, sausage.
Hey.
Yes,
I'm getting hungry.
I mean, he does amazing. he does amazing. But when it comes to, how can I break it out? So we have feelings. We know what emotions are. Kids with autism, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They do know, but they don't know. Like if he sees you crying because he knows you're hurt, he'll be sad. But if there's nothing on you but you're hurting, he'll just laugh at you. And it's like, dude, you can't laugh. And his first thing, well, I didn't know. Someone has to tell me. I'm different. I'm like, okay, yes, you are very different.
He's laying it all out there on the line.
He lays it all. He lays it all, and I mean, you know. But the one time I actually did see him break down, really hard, because it made me realize he does see things that other kids may not see. Like, we fed the homeless one year.
Okay.
And I wanted my kids to understand, you know, you guys have everything these people don't. And it broke him down. After we were done, we gave our last plate, I believe it was to a man. We gave him, it was around the winter time, so everyone had gloves and hats and a little blanket just to keep them warm. Mm-hmm. And it broke him down. He goes, I don't understand why they live like this. Like, well, unfortunately, things happen and they end up living this route. But what about shelters? What about this? I go, then I was told my brother, that's where we come in. We try to help. He goes, okay, I could help. I go, yeah, you can help. He goes, so we did it a little bit more. But I saw it was making him more depressed. So I was like, let's kind of back away. And so once in a while, we will do it. Not all the time like we used to, because we could get over it. Not meaning okay, we know they're homeless, but there's nothing for us that we could do. As long as we could give them water, give them blankets, especially during the winter time.
Yes.
But unfortunately for kids like Ben, they can't. It's a replay. So, example, you know how we say it's raining like cats and dogs?
Yeah.
They will literally, kids with autism will literally look
For the cats and dogs.
for the cats and dogs. And he'll be like, so now when I say it's raining like cats and dogs, he goes, yeah, there's no cats and dogs out there, is there? No, it's just raining very hard. Yeah, but there's no cats and dogs. I go, no. He goes, okay. So I'm like, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there.
He knows.
But in truth be honest, they really think there are things, like the expressions that we say, they literally think about it. Like,
They take it literally.
they take it literally. It's like, I'm like, oh, like I said something. He goes, so they just farted? I go, no, I said something. Oh, I said that his sister was like, her stomach is so huge. I go, she ate too much. And he goes, oh, that's because she has so fart. I'm like, okay. He's a comedian. Kids with autism, they are comedians. They really are. The things they say is like, oh, okay. And I have to apologize for him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. Because other people don't know.
They don't know. But yeah, they could look like you and I. You would not know. But then there are kids who has more besides just autism.
Yeah.
They could have Down syndrome, you could see. ADHD is a behavior, but different, but autism, something that you cannot see at all. And that is the one thing people really think about. Kids with autism, back in the 80s, all they did was just sleep, lay, not do nothing. That isn't the case for these kids. It really isn't. Um, so when I found out that he was diagnosed at the age of 7, he was very late.
Mm-hmm.
Living in Kentucky at the time didn't really help. There was no type of support. There was no type of anything. So I had to do it myself. And we did that. Every day. We have homework. We have to do our ABCs.
Mm-hmm.
That was a struggle because here goes a pen or a pencil and paper. Okay, let's do homework. There goes the pen. There goes the pencil. We did it every day. And then finally he got to it, and we did it. But if your child does not have a routine or a schedule, it's very hard for them to function. Plain and simple. Like we know, for us, we could be 10 minutes too late to work, but we know we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
For them, no, we have to be on time. We have to do this. We have to do that. And it's very difficult because I don't want, he's my middle child. So it's always his brother or his sister that says, all right, come on, Ben, you got to do this. But I did it. But you did it yesterday. Okay, I guess I got to do it now. Yeah. Okay.
So with him having been diagnosed at 7, and you said now he's 19. Okay. So you said you did it by yourself. So how do you feel like the state of Kentucky or just society as a whole has come since then as far as autism awareness and support?
To be honest?
Please.
Amazing. I wish it was how it is now, how it was back then. Because for the longest, everyone kept telling me he's your typical boy. He's going to do things when he's ready. But what they don't understand is he wasn't your typical boy. He wasn't your typical child. He was pretty much a child that needed help, who was screaming for help. And here I am, trying my best, doing what I was supposed to. And of course, when you're a special needs mom, especially a single mom at the time, it's very hard because you feel like, who's there to help you? I didn't get that help from his dad. I didn't get that help from that side of family because they were in denial. But I knew. I knew from the get-go. I actually knew when I was pregnant with him, he was going to be a different child.
How so? If I may.
I don't know. One day, my oldest son kissed my tummy. He goes, I love him. I go, I know you love him. I go, but he's going to be special. He goes, how do you know, Mommy? I go, I don't know. I guess it's that mother intuition. And sure enough, he was born a little bit delayed. And then at 6 months, he stopped everything. He stopped the cooing, the jabbing.
The
interaction, just, you said, if you said Bin Bin, he smiled with one tooth. So at that, I just knew at 6 months I knew. I don't know if it's because I worked with kids with special needs when I was in high school, but I could tell you, I knew he was going to be different. Because as a mom, okay, you have your set amount of how many kids you want. Mm-hmm. Everyone always say that expression, if you have 3 kids, that middle child is going to be the one that needs the most loving, the most this, the most that. I want to say Ben got the most loving from both of my kids. I treated my kids very equally, no matter what. But he wouldn't say anything. And then I moved to Kentucky. We started him with First Step. I will say First Step is amazing. So if you have kids who have a disability or anything, go through First Steps. They were amazing. When I first moved to Kentucky, that's what we went through. We went through First Steps. And unfortunately, I could not work because we had physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. So that took a lot of my time. Mm-hmm. And then, but he still wasn't grasping to speak. Mm-hmm. He just kept pointing. And you could tell he was frustrated because here his brother and sister are saying milk, juice, and here he is pointing, and you could tell the frustration because he would get something and just throw it, and I'm like, dude, you can't do that. But he didn't understand. So as I was talking to First Step, they said, let's try sign language. Well, sign language, when people think of sign language, it's like, but it's for your child who's deaf. And that's the way I thought. I thought, why are we teaching my son sign language? He's not deaf. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, it's to help with the motor skills. Mm-hmm. So like, an easy thing. This is more. And so when I would give him food, and I would say, he would have to tell me more. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I go, more? So, okay, we got this down. All right, more juice, okay. You know, this is drink. And, yeah, we're going way back now. Mm-hmm. But I still remember those things. So, my daughter was home because she's the youngest, so she would do the sign language with him. Mm-hmm. And then, if the speech therapist was there when my oldest son was there, he would do it too. So they all helped each other. And the thing was, they had their own language. You always hear triplets or twins having their own language because that's usually occurs. My kids are, the oldest and Ben are 2 years apart exactly, and then Ben and his sister are 16 months apart. They all had their own language among each other. I'm like, what's your brother say? Well, he wants juice and he wants a piece of toast. Why can't I? Understand? I don't know. So we went through that, and I will say the first time, you know, our kids are so different in unique ways. Mm-hmm. So when you have a regular child who says mommy and daddy at 6 to a year old, you get excited. Here he is, a year and a half, almost 2, he said mommy for the first time. I could tell you, I actually cried. And I was like, why are you crying? My kid just said mommy. Well, that's normal. No, it's not. No. When you hear, and it wasn't just, it was a sweet voice because I woke up and he's looking at me. He goes, mommy. Say it again. Because at first I thought I was dreaming. Mm. He said, mommy. I cried. I was so happy. Then I called my mom. She was at work. Mm-hmm. So mom at work, frustrated at work, she yelled at me, what do you want? I go, and she hears me crying. She goes, what's wrong? I said, mommy. What? I said, mommy. So I handed the phone, not knowing he didn't go, say, mommy. Mommy. My mom started crying too. She goes, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. This is a big celebration. And it really was. So everything that he did, we celebrated. Yeah. You know, I mean, thank goodness for my oldest. Because, you know, I was a single mom. I didn't know how I was going to train a kid, a little boy with disability. But my oldest son showed him. He goes, this is what we do. He goes, we put the milk in the Cheerio. And that's the concept he used. So if it wasn't for my oldest son, we would probably been using diapers and everything for a very long time. But my oldest son said, I want to teach him. I go, okay. So my oldest son played a big part in his life as well as my daughter, Shirley-Ann, who you've taken pictures of. I have. But we called them the Benitez trouble. Because no matter what, wherever Ben was at, they were there. and if you snatched something from Ben, which was often when we went to the park, because he couldn't communicate, those two would step up, and it's like, well, okay. but having a child with special needs, and it's not just autism, it's for any child, wheelchair bound, bed bound, whatever it is. We've always heard doctors say, well, we don't know what your child's going to be. We don't know if your child's going to make it through this obstacle. We don't know if they're going to speak. We don't know if he's going to make it until he's 21, whatever the age is, due to health reasons, whatnot. But with Ben, he has come through so many obstacles. And when I mean so many, there were days where I didn't know how I was going to function as a parent. Because it's really hard. Because the one thing you want to do is look through your child's eyes to see what they see. We see things as, okay, it's picture perfect at times. We know what's right, what's wrong. But in their minds and through their eyes, we want to see what they go through on a daily basis. What do they think of? What do they see? How do their peers treat them? Because we will never, ever understand what our kids go through in that aspect. But with him, we've learned every obstacle you go through, you can get through the next one. And boy, has he showed me patience.
He's shown you patience.
He has showed me patience.
How so?
Opposed to the other two, I could just walk away.
Yeah.
With him, when I mean he's shown me patience, it's more of I've learned to laugh. Like, now what did I get myself into with this one? He has shown me patience where it's okay to make mistakes. We're people. We're okay to show our feelings. We're okay to be blunt. And for me as a mom, it has shown me it's okay if I need to be a mama bear. Because there's going to be days where I am going to want to hurt someone because you hurt my child.
Yes.
But he also showed me it's okay, Mom, take a step back. I got this. Let me do this. To me, in my eyes, what person would want to get in the face of a boy who's 6'3"?
It's not the first thing on my list of things to do all day.
But with Ben, he shows you there are genuine good people out there still. And with him, he has shown me it's okay, Mom. I'm ready to grow up. I'm okay to get that job. Because at first, I was scared. I was very scared to let him out of my sight. Because I didn't know what the world was going to see. I didn't know what he was going to face upon. Like elementary, he was with this one teacher from 1st grade up until 5th grade. I cried when he had to leave her.
Right.
Because she's known him. She's seen him at his worst. She's seen him when he's had meltdowns. She's learned how to comfort him. Now we're going to middle school. I don't know if we're going to have that.
Right.
And middle school was hard. For him, middle school was very hard. He got bullied a lot. More so than you could ever think of. And the mama bear came out. I fought and fought and fought because you can't see his disability. JCPS didn't want to acknowledge Ben had autism.
Even after he was officially diagnosed.
Even after he was, and their thing was because he wasn't a mute. That's what they told me. Because he wasn't a mute. He did things. He interacted. That's because I showed him that. That's because we taught him that.
So they labeled all those who were autistic were mute. There was no.
They labeled these kids from like back in the 80s. They don't
Right.
do anything. They just shut down, or because, or they rock.
Yeah.
They rock a lot. He rocks, but it depends on the situation. But that's how the JCPS labeled him when he was in middle school. Finally, I kept fighting. I pushed, and finally, we had a lady that came to. It was Doctor something. I forget her name, and she's the one that said no. He has autism. So they finally put him in the classes that he needed to be in, and that was the one thing. Regardless of how much as a parent we do to teach our kids, let's push forward. Let's show the world what our kids are about. Some people still have the mindset of, well, they rock. They don't do anything. They just mute, or they just say noise. They make noises. Because now, until what, 1940s up to probably 2000, parents were scared to let their kids out of their sight. So they just kept them in the room. This is what you're going to do. But you can't do that to these kids.
No.
There is such a bigger world out there, and that's what I learned from Ben. It's like there's so much more out there. He was going to Japan, actually.
Really?
Yes.
What for?
He loves the culture.
It is. It's definitely an attractive culture, yeah.
He loves their culture. He reads so much about them, about their culture, what they eat and everything. And our kids with autism are very smart.
Yeah.
I mean, so you could have a child with low function autism who may be unique in his or her own little world, but be smart with certain things, like drawing.
Yes.
10 or 11, I've seen kids with autism who has beautiful art. And then you have kids who are math smart, that could figure out numbers in their heads. And I'm like, okay, what is 9 times such and such? I have to use a calculator.
But they know it just.
They really do. And but what I've also learned through our family and what I've taught him, yes, you have autism, which is cool. I think it's amazing. I felt very blessed to have a challenge in front of me. Granted, my other two could be challenging, but God gave me something that He knew I could handle, and that's what I live on all the time. He gave me this child because He knew I could handle. What is the reasoning? I still don't know yet, but eventually I'm gonna find out.
Eventually you will find out.
Eventually, but yes, he may have autism, but I'm not gonna let autism run him.
Right.
Him and I are going to show the world, yes, I am autism, and this is what I can do. And that's what it's about. You can't hide your child just because they have a disability, because they won't learn anything.
No.
They have to learn other things. Getting them out of their comfort zone, which I did with him for Curse for Cause. You saw that?
Yeah.
He was very scared. He goes, why am I doing this? I go, because I'm proud of you. And you captured some moments where it was emotional for me to walk down, because I'm proud of him. I'm so proud of him. It's unbelievable. We went from a kid who couldn't talk to a kid who learned sign language to actually say words. Then to a kid who wouldn't stop talking because it was just and it felt so good. It felt so good so I've seen so many things in my son that I am very proud and fond of. And like graduation, they told me he could have a special diploma or a regular diploma. I wanted him to get that regular diploma, and when he walked down that stage and got that diploma, my heart dropped because I was so excited for him. baby did that on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He got up there and walked. Granted, he did not like all of those people watching him.
Yeah.
He was kind of scared, but to be able to say my son did this is amazing. And so I just love that kid to pieces. I mean, he's a great kid. He every day we learn something new. Um, he just asked if he could learn how to drive, but I told him in order to do that he has to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah, there's levels to this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I told him, I go, if you don't want to drive, it's okay. You have your brother and sister. I go, you have an Uber. He goes, yeah. And I go, and then you have your pops and I. He goes, yeah. Or you can take the Targ. So, do I want him to drive? I'm going to be very honest. No. The reasoning for it, because I'm very scared because of sensory issues. I'm scared if he is to get pulled over and police officers really don't know. If he, cops may think he's on something and do something. I don't want that for him.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I am leaning towards not trying to teach him. But I have no problem teaching him to go on the Targ.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that would be fun. We get to go on the Targ and just have fun.
Just ride around for a while.
But yes, I definitely do want people to understand that kids with autism are not the same. They're all different. They are all unique. And boy, are they funny.
Yeah.
They are funny, and don't be scared of them.
No.
Don't be scared of them. And when they have sensory overload, just calm them down. Just tell them they're okay. Because that's the main thing. They have sensory issues too.
Mm-hmm.
We've overcome that too. He likes oatmeal. He didn't like oatmeal before.
Oatmeal's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
I think it just kind of, it's a, so now, you all do seem so close. Like when you post, like it's usually like if you're posting about one kid, there's a picture of like all three of them, or if you're posting about the family, everybody's there, stuff like that. So do you think something like this kind of brought you all closer, or do you think that the fact that you were already close helped you all through this?
Well, for one, I think it's also how you're brought up.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a very loving, caring family, and that's what I did for my kids.
Okay.
When it came to my oldest and my youngest, it's always been them three.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was finally diagnosed with autism, I had to explain it into a way that they understood it.
Right. Yeah.
And with that, Sergio has always been that protector since I can remember.
Your oldest.
My oldest.
Okay. Yeah.
He has always been that protector from day one when I brought Ben home. And then when it came to his sister, it was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Sergio is that protector. Everyone knows her as Shirley Ann, but I call her Boogie. She's had that nickname for a while. Boogie has been that little mama bear as to when it's come to her, both of her older brothers,
Mm-hmm.
but especially towards Ben. With Ben being autistic, they both have that heart of people with special needs.
Mm-hmm.
They go out of their ways. They just don't, like, let's say a kid with Down syndrome was getting bullied or something. That's a big no-no in my kids' eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That really is. They grew up together. They grew up together loving one another. They grew up together defending each other. So that has never stopped. And the closeness, it's always been that way. I've always been that mom. Okay, we're going to do family day. We're going to do, even now,
Mm-hmm.
Sergio's 21. Ben just turned 19. Boogie, she's 17. But we still do game nights.
Nothing wrong with game night.
No, we
I'm
don't.
grown, I have game night.
We do Uno. We do Uno, and so we've yes, Uno. It could take about an hour or two to finish Uno. in our house.
Mm. That's some serious stuff right there.
But no, altogether, it having been, they can't see each other with just two kids. They call themselves the Benitez kids because that's what they are. So yeah, if like Ben went away and they felt lonely without their brother. He went to Florida after graduation, and they got very lonely without him. They called each other almost every day. They FaceTime each other when they woke up, after they woke up. So they're just very close kids, no matter what. And boy, do they goof off a lot too. They'll go in Ben's room just to bother him, and then they'll jump to their sister's room and then to their other brother's room just to joke around with one another.
So they play a lot of pranks and stuff?
Yes, they do. Yes, they still do. I don't think that will ever change with them three.
Nor should it.
No. So, and now he's asking them questions of this and that.
What kind of this and that?
Well, he asked my son about relationship advice. Or we tell him don't ask his brother that because his brother will say goofy stuff.
So it's great. I definitely think it is great how close they all are. Like I said, when I saw you guys at the Curse for a Cause, it was really nice watching you all, and then just talking to you all, and then meeting Shirley Ann I think the second time was interesting. Like I said, she wrote pizza into her contract. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole different story.
She did get that pizza too.
She did. She earned it though. She earned it.
She did.
I knew that. So now, the reason that we were talking initially is for the autism awareness photo shoot that we were doing. So how do you feel that autism awareness has progressed since your son was first diagnosed? Or do you feel it has progressed?
I feel it has progressed. So many awareness because, like, people like me, when they come, I'm originally from Miami, so I knew in Miami there are so many supports out there, and then when you come to a state you're not really sure about, it's very difficult. And that's the one thing I did have. I didn't have that support when I first moved here because, like I said, doctors are, oh, he's a boy, oh, he'll talk when he's ready, but something's wrong. So with people, well, like you have Autism Speak, you have U of L. So in that aspect, it helps parents to really understand what is going on. But it also gives parents an outlook like, I'm not the only one.
Right.
I'm not the only one. Like, let's say Ben was small again and you and your wife brought your child. We're trying to learn what are we dealing with, It's like, okay, well, hi, such and such. We talk. Oh, well, have you done sign language with your son? And you'd be like, what? People don't think, like, sign language helps. So here I am giving you that outlet, like, oh, wow, I guess I should do sign language. Because it's easy stuff. You just have to make sure you do it all the time. I'm very proud of how it has grown. Because, like I said, it gives parents outlets. It also gives their kids an outlet to meet other kids that are like them.
Yeah.
And that is the best part. Yes, Ben is 19. He's 6'3", almost 200-something pounds. He does not get along with his peers, except his brother's friends and his sister's friends because they know about him.
Right. But
he gets along with kids that are probably 12 years or younger because of their mindset. He knows from right or wrong, but he talks about video games. And he talks about video games. He talks to, he says unique words like cooking,
we would say recipe or something. We have to go to the store and go buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He would say, well, I have to go to the store and buy ingredients for my recipe. So his vocabulary is kind of different than a child his age.
Okay.
But I have a lot of friends that do have kids with autism. And so when they go to these organization and, family fun day, it makes them feel good. It makes them feel like, okay, my child's having a meltdown, but this child's having a meltdown too. It's okay.
I'm not in it alone.
Yes, and that's the one thing. Sometimes us parents need other parents to lean on. Be like, is this normal?
Yeah.
Is this what it's like? Because I used to work at Lucky's as a grocery. Well, they just closed it down.
Lucky's Market?
Yes, off Hirschborn.
Yeah. I know
so one day, a young lady with her 2 sons fully knew her son had autism, the sensory issues, just everything. And for some reason, we just happened to talk, and I was able to calm him down and everything. And then I belong to a group called the Laughing Ducks. It's for parents with autism kids. And I put it out there, and the funny thing was, her husband belonged to that group. And so her husband was like, I think this young lady is talking about you. So needless to be said, we actually ended up being friends. I ended up babysitting her child. Sweet as can be, I believe they moved back home to Owensburg, but we still keep in touch. But I mean, sometimes when you have a child with disabilities, it's hard to take them out because you have that meltdowns. But I always try, but because of my own child having those meltdowns in front of me and in the stories, that is the worst thing when other people are like, can you not keep a hand on them?
Yeah.
What's wrong with them? And it makes you feel bad because it's like, this is what I know. There's certain things like you could do with a regular child. Oh, keep it up, we're going to the bathroom. I can't do that to him. So, but we ended up being friends. I ended up watching him a few times, and he his autism, he was I wouldn't say medium, but to watch him grow to do the things, that's the best thing about it. You see that growth in that child. Like I saw that growth in my own child. So when everyone's like, oh, well, they won't do anything. You may think that way, but we don't think that way. My child could do what I told my kids. They could do anything they want to be. You could do anything. Put your mind to it. Like Ben, he wanted to work. He had one job interview. It didn't go so well. It broke his heart. I was like, dude, it's okay. We keep pushing. And then we sat down. Go, what do you want to do? He goes, I want to work with pets. He wants to become a chef, but I'm too scared to let him do that because it's in a kitchen. It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot going on.
Sometimes kitchens, the fire. That's too much. So he goes, I want to work at a pet store. Okay. So I called PetSmart, asked them, get the rundown. He had an interview. It was cute. My mom was there. So it's like I said, we have to teach our kids things. Well, I have never taught, my oldest I have taught him, but him I never taught him to shake a person's hand. And they say, it's nice to meet you. So the lady goes, it's nice to meet you. He goes, okay, bye. I was like, so my mom told me that. I was like, dude. He goes, what? I didn't know what to say. So we were working on that with him. It's nice to meet you. Because to be honest, I'm not going to lie. I always thought he would be home playing video games. And I was fine with that. But I knew he wanted to see the world like his brother and sister. I knew he wanted to make that money like his brother and sister. So I was like, okay. So Wednesday was his actual true first day. He got ready like 2 hours prior. It's cute. I go, Ben. He goes, I'm so nervous. I go, it's okay, buddy. He goes, okay. And then from the time we left until we got there, which was only like 5 minutes down the street from us, he goes, hi, my name is Benjamin. It's nice to meet you. Hi, I said, Ben, it's okay. Hi, he goes, can I shake your hand, Mom? I was like, okay. He goes, hi, my name is Benjamin. It's nice to meet you. I chuckled because it was the cutest thing. Because you don't realize you have to teach those things,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. Because we know, shake your hand, hey, it's nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. But to teach them that, it's like, oh, I got to teach them that, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness he has his manners. If not, then, hey, I don't know what would have happened.
It could have been worse, but it wasn't, so it's good. It's okay.
But I've met so many other families who are so thankful for these outlets,
Mm-hmm.
for these for the walks
Mm-hmm.
and when they have like the big picnics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people look, they're like, you have a son with autism? Yeah. I didn't know that. Well, what am I supposed to say? Hey, by the way, I got a kid who has autism. We don't just flat out say it like that. But I know these outlets for other parents, it's the best feeling for them because sometimes they need that shoulder to cry on
Mm-hmm.
or to see if is my child the only one doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Ben used he used to chew remote controllers. And I finally had to, I go, he chews and just chews. And it's a smoothing, what did he say? It helps smooth him when he's anxious.
Anxious or something. Yeah.
It's like, can I just give him a chew? He goes, well, he's not a dog. I go, I know that, but I mean, he's chewing all of my controllers, and I just, so, I will say, yeah, Ben has showed me a lot, and but no, for these picnics and everything, it has helped so many people. It, like I said, I just wish the help that they have now they had back then. Because it would have been so much easier. I wouldn't have felt I was alone. I was by myself. Didn't know what I was doing because when you go to doctors, when you go to, well, he's a boy. It's his age. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to it.
When you know there's something, but they're not seeing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but I think it's amazing. They have these cookouts. They have now they have jobs for kids, for people with just autism.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such an amazing outlet because our kids do want to do things. They don't want to feel like they're dumb or slow, like how other people will put it.
Yeah.
They're just like us. Their mind just process us. Their mind process completely different.
Yes.
That's why with autism you have that puzzle.
Mm.
Because with them you don't know. It's missing a piece. So with that puzzle says a lot. Because, okay, is the piece gonna go this way? Is the piece gonna go that way? But I don't know about other parents, but for me, I wouldn't change Ben for anything. I would not. I have my two other kids. Oh no, I don't want him to be like them. Oh no. I love Ben because he's unique and he has a story to tell. And that's the thing. They do have a story. We all have a story to tell. But with them it's more how I got to where I am now, going through all of these obstacles.
The journey.
Yes, it's a journey. And that's what it is. It's a very long, long journey. He does want to have a family one day. Am I scared of that? Yes. But it's okay. Because I know there are other older people with autism, and they do have a family. And is it going to be easy? No. But who said having a family is easy? Who said that we all have journeys and we've been able to overcome them? but theirs are more unique and more special than anything, and that's him. He is going to have a family one day, and I tell him that. And then he asks us if he could live with us. I go, yeah, probably. So, but the way today's society is from back then,
Mm-hmm.
it has grown. It has made people, doctors, everyone more aware than anything. And that is the biggest thing, because I thought I was losing my mind. I seriously thought at one point I was losing my mind. Like, well, am I just going crazy? Am I just putting myself, making him think that he's special and he's not? Meaning as a special needs child. And then one day, he had to have surgery because he's like, him and I are like, we'll chew our inside of our lip,
Mm-hmm.
and we break tissue. But his broke a tissue, and he needed surgery. And it was Dr. Rice. Still remember his name. And he's the one that helped more than anything. He goes, how long have you known? No, what? What's wrong? I go, the tissue? I go, I've known. He goes, no, your son shows every sign of autism. Michael, I cried. He goes, I'm sorry, did I hurt your feelings? I go, no, you're the only one that's told me that. I've gone to 3 pediatricians. We were military at the time. I go, I've gone to Fort Knox. Everyone tells me I'm going, it's his age, he's a boy. He goes, no, your son shows every sign. He goes, I'm going to help you. He's the one that got me into Weisskopf Center. Weisskopf Center sent me back to Fort Knox, and they, once a month, a doctor from Weisskopf would go down to Fort Knox. And they finally said, well, he said, the Fort Knox doctor goes, he doesn't have Asperger's, because that's what they thought. And he goes, he's fully autistic. And then we went to the Weisskopf, and they were really nice. They were funny, actually. when they gave me everything about him. He was diagnosed with ADHD, which we kind of knew.
Mm.
But they said with Ben, he wasn't your typical child with autism. The reason for it is because he enjoyed hugs.
Yeah.
He enjoyed hugs. He liked to laugh. He liked to giggle. He loved to do everything that beforehand, I guess, that's what they were portraying.
Mm-hmm.
Kids with autism didn't like. And they said, it's because of you guys, of you and your mom. They go, but no, he's fully has autism, and this is what we're going to do. And for the first time, I felt very relieved,
Mm-hmm.
more than anything, because in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking, I was really going crazy. And they saw me crying because of because like my ex hit their father, and his side of the family wouldn't accept the fact that he had autism. It was more of, they were blaming me like I did something in my pregnancy. And they said, you didn't do nothing. They're like, his brain is just completely different. And, but it's okay. We're going to help you. And I felt very relieved. I had an amazing job. I felt good. You know, I was able to take care of my mom and everything. But once he was diagnosed, you know, you hear that expression, I'll do anything for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are priority. I left that job. I quit that job to work for minimum wage because my son needed me.
Mm-hmm.
My son needed the therapy. It was a whole 360 within 72 hours.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I was okay with that. And so I worked with Ben. It was a struggle, but we've worked together. And like I said, he's shown patience. But more so than anything, the way it is now is amazing.
Mm.
And I'm glad that parents now and doctors now are looking into it more at a younger age than
Yeah.
waiting to 6 to 7 years old. because at that time it's completely done and over with. You know, it's like, where do we start? But you do have that first step. And first step is amazing. Because when you do go to your pediatrician, well, they're not talking, they do help. And I wanted him to stay in first step for a very long time, but with first step, they only go up to school age, like kindergarten. And then once that happens, then you go in with the school. But I didn't even have that help. So, I just wish there was more outlets, you know, for more parents. There's a lot now, but some doctors, like, I believe it still is, I'm not sure, I may be wrong, but Weiskopf is the only center in Louisville that does all of the assessments and everything with autism. I really think there needs to be more outlet, especially with, because now I wish there were more outlets for adult with autism, because they don't have that place to go, or if they do, you have to go all the way back and find all of your doctors and everything from when they were a kid. So I do know you have Bluegrass. I think that's for kids, but now I just wish there was more things out there for the adults with autism. Because you have that from until you're up until you're 18, you know, there's outlets, but once they reach that 18th, they're an adult now, there's nothing for them. There really isn't. So that's something I think that the community plus everyone should work on providing more information for that. Because I know when I was trying to look for like a daycare or something for Ben, it was more, well, they have things, but it's all the way downtown. Or there's like one or two places, but not enough. Not enough. Well, I guess you would want to call them daycare. Call them daycares, but you really don't.
No, I think I can definitely understand what you're saying. Based on what you've told me and some of the research I've done once we started this project, it really has opened my eyes a lot more, because I know some people, and I have some people in my life that have autism. It's like, okay, gotcha. And once we like put out fillers for the autism project, there were so many people that were, oh, this person has autism. This is. It's like it really does affect everybody, and just the way that they come together. It's just so simple as, you know, hey, do you guys want to do a project? And then everybody's affected, and then, you know, I started doing research and I found this group and that group and history and stuff like that. It's really interesting, but I can definitely see how there would be a need for something for adults too. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, and the good thing is, you know, like for Ben, I know Kroger's has one of them. Kroger's is one of them. They do have a caseworker when it comes to their employees wanting to work. So it's called a case manager. And so with that, Kroger's will take them in and they'll do different things with them. And the same thing with Pet Supermarket. Once I spoke to one of the managers, her and I we were corresponding emails, and then I finally got to meet her, and she says it's upon their level of how they deal with people. Because the thing is with people with autism, kids, adults, whatever it is, they have a thing called sensory overload. And like for Ben, if his sensory is too high for him, he'll fidgetive, he'll move his hands a lot, not be able to talk clearly. He gets very nervous. And I think with kids with autism, it's all of them that has that. They get very nervous, like they're not, well, not all of them, but like for Ben, he does not want you to be mad at him. He, if he feels like he did something wrong, he will feel very bad and he'll start crying. So it's like, dude, you didn't do nothing wrong. It's okay, take a breather. He goes, it's just so much, and they will tell you that it's a lot. So with Pet Supermarket, they're taking one day at a time with him, and that's really a good thing because like most jobs, okay, you know how to do this. All right, I'll see you later. We could do it ourselves, but kids with autism, like, they can't, you know. So every day, like, we know what our job is to do. We know from the minute we get up, it's either use the bathroom or brush your teeth first. One of those. You take a shower, you get dressed, you have something to eat, and then you're off and about.
Mm-hmm.
With Ben, it's more of I'll text him, be like, all right, dude. When he was school age, okay, I woke him up. I still woke him up. Make sure, brush your teeth. It's a reminder. Granted, should he know all of this stuff? Yes, but in his mind, it doesn't work that way.
Mm.
So I call it the puzzle. That's the puzzle.
Just putting it all together.
Putting it all together. Like this morning, did you brush your teeth? Yes, and I took a shower. I go, I know, I heard the shower going, and so he always makes sure this is what he's supposed to do. When he cooks, he likes French fries. He loves French fries. When I make French fries, I just want to cut. I don't care about the skin. The skin, for him, he has for French fries. He'll get the potatoes, wash them, peel them. I mean, I do too, but I put them in oil. I know the germs are going to be dead. Do you see what I'm saying?
I still gotta wash mine. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
But,
I gotta wash them.
So for Ben, so I get his potatoes, 2 or 3 potatoes. He'll wash, take the skin off, wash
them. Yes.
Dice them.
I'm with you, Ben.
He'll dice them, wash. He does a lot of washing.
Okay, I didn't wash after the second wash, but it's okay.
He does,
right.
And then he fries. And then once he fries, he knows to put the paper. He'll get the bowl, put a paper towel because he knows to get all. And then he puts salt. So with that, he does know. So he does a lot of repetitious with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there's reminders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like my husband, a wonderful stepfather, amazing stepfather. He came into my life when I wasn't looking for anything,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually hit it off really good because he had a nephew that has autism as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we both, I was like, okay. So he understood with Ben. He understood what it was like. He didn't say, well, he should know all of this. No. So he plays video. He always played video games with Ben because that's what Ben liked. So my husband always tried. My husband, when we first started, he tried to ask what did each kid like.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter was musical. She loves musical movies. Sergio was more of a sports player at the time, and Ben was video games and watching The Simpsons.
Okay.
So that's what he did with each kid. He always made sure, but he is as well. He's a daddy's bear when needed to. You know, the one thing when we were going through stuff with JCPS,
Mm-hmm.
it was really hard. It's really hard on him as a dad because and as a mom, it's like we want to see what he sees,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the one power I really wish I had was feel what he feels, see what he sees, what he hears, everything like that. And I was very glad he didn't come with me for a meeting for a JCPS because my husband would have been in jail with what the principal said to us. So he is a voice advocate for Ben. He stands up for Ben. He does not like people making fun of Ben. That's one of his biggest pet peeve. And he makes Ben feel love. He makes him feel like he does have a dad. He makes him feel he is wanted. Like we joke with Ben, because Ben gets so much into his video games, he won't answer his phone. So if my husband does go and get him something to eat, he'll call him and be like, "Well, you didn't bring me nothing." He goes, "Dude, you're on your phone." I mean, not on your phone. He goes, "You're playing the game." He goes, "Could have called." He goes, "Would you pick up?" No. But but for Ben, he does go out of his way for a lot of things. Um, when it comes to when he goes to the store, he'll always get Ben like a drink or something. Um, for his birthdays, we go big and out for him. But no, I would say my husband is one of. He's amazing. He stepped up to the plate when he shouldn't have. You know, I have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 kids. That was a big thing, but he loves each kid differently and equally. But with him and Ben, boy, can they crack up because he'll just crack up with what Ben's saying because Ben says the darndest things, and it's like that show, kids say the darndest things. No, this is a Ben show. Ben's saying the darndest thing, and it's like, oh my lord, Ben. And like for the first time, he said a girl was hot, and I think I just laughed so much. He goes, yeah, that girl's hot. And I was like, what? No, we don't say that. He goes, but it's true, Mom. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But no, Ben. But Mark will. He is strict with Ben as well, because he is ADHD, and he is not on any medicine because that was Ben's choice. He didn't want it no more. He felt like it made him feel like a zombie. So Mark actually put a time on his device for the Xbox and PlayStation. So his is the only one that has a time. So at 1 o'clock it goes off. So the first time that happened, he came into our room. He woke us up. He goes, something happened to my game. Mike goes, no, I turned it off. He goes, why? He goes, because it's bedtime. He goes, oh, fine, I'll go to bed. And he went to sleep. And I looked at him, I go, did that just happen? He goes, yeah, that just happened. He goes, but he has to know that just because he's not doing anything right now, he has rules. So he has rules and he has chores. So every day I will text him because I'm at work. I'll be like, did you do this? Did you do that? Yes, Mom. I remember to do that, Mom. Okay. And then he knows his one chore is he has to empty out the dishwasher. And then he takes our dogs out. And then after that, he pretty much just stays in his room. But lately he's been coming out, which is really good because we'll be like, let's watch a movie. The one movie we're waiting for it to come out is Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was like, you want to go see that? Because we were going to do a mom and son date. He goes, I just don't want to. Okay, we'll just wait. So instead of that night, we rented Pikachu, the movie.
The little detective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That is some grown sense of humor, but he got it. I just didn't get it. So, yeah, it's kind of funny because he'll get certain humor. So I'm like, what's so funny? My husband will be like, he gets it. That's what matters. Oh, okay.
That's a wise man.
Hey, it is. But no, when it comes to family, when it comes to outings, everything in life, when it comes to our house, like you said, we're very close. We are very close. We are very close, more than anything. Like, if I'm not home, Ben will ask everyone, where's Mom? Where's Mom? Where's Mom? Mark will be like, call your mom. The kids will be like, call Mom. You just came down here 2 minutes ago. He's like, okay. But no, we're very united. We're very strong as a family.
Yeah.
We're very strong, and we're always there for one another, no matter what. They say we're there. I mean, if Ben was to call my son and say, I need you, my son would stop what he's doing to go be with Ben. But still, there are just some things he does not quite understand completely, which is fine for us at this moment. Eventually, we will explain to him certain things like death. He understands it, but not really. We had a really good friend the kids grew up with named Carlos, and a few years ago he he was killed in an accident. But Ben didn't understand what happened. And so I had to break it down like I would do a 3-year-old or 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He's in heaven, and you'll see him one day. You know, but when I said we'll see him one day, he goes, okay, where's he at? It's like, okay, that didn't go so well. And so I took him outside, and I go, so you wanted to know where heaven was? He goes, yeah. So I looked up in the sky, go, heaven's up there. He goes, we could get a plane. And at that moment, I was like, it doesn't matter what I say to this kid. He's going to lighten the situation no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make you want to laugh.
Yeah.
Without even trying. So, so he's learning little by little because his brother has had friends who has passed away unexpected. So he's learning that. He does show he is now learning to show feelings. That was a very big thing before,
Mm-hmm.
because as well, kids with autism, they don't understand feelings. They don't know how to show it either.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, which I'm very blessed for my mom. My mom is amazing, and she has helped me from the minute we found out Ben had autism. Because once I left my job, I called my mom and asked if I could come back home. She's like, sure. And so my mom and I, we've been living together ever since Ben was diagnosed with autism. People are like, how do you do it? She has her own space, I have my own space. But if it wasn't for my mom to help me with Ben and Mark, I really don't know where I would be, especially without my mom. My mom was the caretaker, so I could go to work. You know, she would get Ben to school. The first time she took him to school, now that was funny. Ben did not know how to get to school. He went to a new school now.
Mm-hmm.
I go, what'd you do? She goes, he remembered the school's name, so I called them and asked them where they were at. And we got there. I go, cool. I go, how did Ben do? He was hungry, of course. I was like, did you take him out? Took him to McDonald's. He was an hour late to school. He got to school. That's all I care about. But my mom is to me, my mom's my superwoman. She's my hero because she has helped me with Ben. Lately, her health has been going a little bit down, so he's very scared of that. He's actually showing emotions with that. And so every day he comes down and he just rambles, just talks her head off, and she goes, okay. But as long as he knows that she's there, he's completely fine. And when he gets home from work, he'll go down there and talk to her. So all three of my kids have a very, very good connection with my mom. So I always think the positive with my mom, with him, because I know when that day comes, it's going to be hard. And that's where I'm going to need all my village to come and help me.
Mm-hmm.
But, and that, you know, kids with autism, they shelter themselves a lot through a lot of things. But that's also depends on how they were raised. Like Weisskopf told us, we got lucky. We didn't shelter him. We showed him what was out there. And we just take one day at a time. Because no matter what, I'm going to still have my good days and my bad days with Ben. Even at this age. I will tell him to do something, and then he'll just stomp. I was like, what did I just do or say? But you also have to understand with kids with autism, you can't, like with if you have multiple kids, you know, as bad as they make us so mad, we'll say things to them like, I'm going to beat your behind once I get home.
Mm-hmm.
And with them, you can't just say that.
Because they'll take it literally.
They take it, but they get so scared, like, and you're going to kill me. No, I'm not going to kill you, I promise. But in our house, we pretty much just really, every obstacle you get through, you could get through anything. And that's what we live by. we do have between the kids. If anything was to happen to Mark or I, my Sergio and Shirley said they would never put him in a home. They would, it's like my son said, that's my brother. No one's going to take him away from me. And then my dog be like, no one's taking him away from me. My son has been in a relationship for 3 years, and she loves Ben as her little brother. And that's what she'll say, that's my little brother. So we've all talked about, God forbid, something's to happen, where Ben will go. Because they know Ben. They could tell you what his favorite food is, see what he doesn't like to eat, what he likes to sleep with, what he doesn't like to sleep with. So those two know what to do in case something is to happen. And they pretty much had to do that in 2 situations with me having surgery.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, my mom would be like, because my mom did move out a few times, but then my kids were like, I need my nanny, so she come back. But they have known, be like, no, this is what Ben likes. This, they had to help Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Mark knew what to do, but they just felt better knowing, okay. And Mark let them.
Mm-hmm.
Mark really let them do what they needed to do, because he told me that it made them feel better knowing, okay, Mom's not here. Now, what will we really do?
We gotta step up for our brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, they do fight like your typical brothers and sisters. They do lash out at one each other. But when I say they're the best friends, they are the best of friends. No one could take that away. And even my son's girlfriend would say, they're like, I just got kicked out of the room. Why? They didn't want me there. I was like, well, you could come in the kitchen and help me cook or not. But no, living with autism, it's not as bad as people would think. It really isn't. You'll have your good days, you'll have your bad days, but we all have our own good and bad days.
Yeah, that's true.
We really do. But the best part about, to me, because that's my child, every day I get to see him grow. Every day I get to see what he has done or what he is trying to do. I mean, he'll tell me stories. I'm like, where'd you come up with this? He loves, like I said, he loves Japanese stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to try octopus. I won't touch the stuff. I've eaten calamari, but excuse me, he wants to try eating it raw. No. More power to you, kid. I ain't doing that.
We will never fight over the kitchen. Nope. It's all you.
But with parents starting now whose child is just diagnosed, there's so much help. And if doctors don't help, reach out to people who has kids with autism. Because that's what I've learned. That's what gives me an appreciation to life for Ben when I see adults who are 50 or 60 years old with autism living with it. They have an amazing life. That gives me hope. That really gives me hope more than anything. And I give people whose kids were just like, I'll ask a question, and the first thing I'll say, go through first steps. Ask them to do sign language. Because to me, sign language is the key. It helps. It doesn't mean they're deaf. Doesn't mean they're, in people's words, stupid or retarded. But you're helping them use those motor skills.
In another form of communication.
And then you'll be happy because once you hear that sweet little voice, by golly, that is the best feeling in the whole wide world. And it makes you cry because you're like, my little person has a voice that you've been dying to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just recently, Ben just got into coloring and drawing. That's just recently, and I was like, you drew this? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, you go, boy. You keep doing your thing. So I do, I want to encourage other families. I want to encourage people. Don't be scared. Do not be scared of your child with autism, because there's more to it. There are obstacles. that's what I call them, are obstacles. And if they could get through that one obstacle, they could get through anything. You just gotta keep pushing them.
One at a time.
And yes, and don't ever, ever tell your child that they can't do it.
Mm.
In my house, we do not say I can't, because you can't do it. You know, even with kids who are wheelchair bound and have to wear their crutches, don't tell them they can't do it. Don't tell them they can't do anything, because guess what? They can. They have their hands. They have their arms. They could still do things. They could build things. They have that voice. You know, it's just a setback if they don't have legs. It's just a setback if they don't have their arms or hands. But they could do things. So with any kid with special needs and adults, you could do it. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. That's what it comes down to. Anything is possible if you just believe in yourself as well.
Didn't have a great support system.
And you need that. But even with that, there are parents who don't have that support system to help their child. Because at one point I thought I was one of those parents. That's why when you have these autism speed, these wise cough, bluegrass, and just any type of support, even from Facebook, local autism groups, join them, because you guys are not the only ones that feel the hurt. We feel the hurt. For the longest, in the back of my mind, I thought Ben was the way he was because of me. Because their father made me feel that way. But the doctors at Weisskopf was like, no. His mind just works differently. And that's what their mind just works differently. And can we get into their minds at times? I wish we could. But guess what? I don't want to. I love my son for who he is. And I wouldn't change him for anything. Certain, with how he speaks at times, maybe yes. With his bluntness. But no. I love my family and I love him. I love that he's my son. I love that God gave him to me. Because without me, without anyone, he could make it. And you just want to push those kids. You don't want to shelter them. You want to treat them as normal as possible. And take those, as a family, take those risks. We didn't do anything for a minute. We went on our first family vacation, 2017, to Gatlinburg. He loved it. He enjoyed it. When he felt it was becoming too much, we will all sit and we'll go to a restaurant and just sit. Let him get comfortable. Of course, he loves food, so of course we would.
At the restaurant.
We're at the restaurant, so he would eat, and then when I'll be like, "Are you ready?" He goes, "Yeah, let's go do this now." Okay, buddy. So, and that was kind of hard. Doing that first family vacation, I didn't know how he would do.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to expect, but he had fun. He wants to go back to Gatlinburg.
Fun place?
It is. But like I said, there's so many support groups which everyone needs. Especially with kids with Down syndrome, because you cannot see that disability unless you know what you're looking for. And because I have him, and if I was to meet Jane Doe tomorrow, she and her son had autism, I would know because of my son. So with that, just love on them. Just let them be goofy.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted him to interact with the photo shoot. He wanted to, and then he changed his mind. And he, because he goes, for Ben, he doesn't realize there are other people out there like him. I had to tell him. I go, there's kids. So he thinks of little kids, but like adults, why he goes, are there people like me? I go, of course. but I don't know them. Well, honey, I don't know them either, but there are.
The little kids become bigger people.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes. But but yeah, when it comes to parents, get that help. You're not the only one. I mean, if you can even hit me up on Facebook.
Go ahead and tell me.
I think it's Jacqueline Benitez. I don't even know my own Facebook.
I'm pretty sure it's Jackie Benitez.
Jackie Benitez. Okay, yeah. Just I mean.
Don't worry. We'll put it on the bottom. It's okay.
But yes, treat your babies. Treat your babies amazing, and trust me, they could do anything. Don't feel scared. Don't feel like you're the only one out there because you're really not. I felt that way, but I really wasn't, and belong to Facebook support groups because those. I mean, if you join one of them and you read people's comments and their pictures, you'll be like, "Oh my goodness, that's what my kid does. That's what my son or my daughter does." And some of these support groups, they will do play groups as well, and that is one of the best things too because you as a mother could get together plus their kids, and it's like, wow, they do the same things, and that's I mean the one thing when they flap their arms, Ben still does it and it still kills me because I still laugh about it. I still think it's cute. You know, here's his big 6'3" flapping his arms like he's Superman. I'm like, okay, fly away, baby, fly away.
we actually did have one of the kids at the photo shoot. He had autism.
Okay.
And we let the kids, like, once the kids were done, we let them just run amok. Because, like, the people that had the warehouse were so nice. They were great. Like, they had chalk on the ground. Like, they let them draw all over the place. They had all kind of stuff. And one of them, literally, he made a friend, and he told his mom, I'd like to hang out with him in the future. And so, like, they definitely made friends. And I think that was one of the greatest things possible. But, yeah, to be able to put together a project like this and hopefully let everybody know you're not alone, you know. And even those who, like, don't have a child that's autistic or something like that, just to bring more awareness, though. I think, especially after this project, I think is really important.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see what your project is.
We got a lot of stuff coming.
I mean, I'm all for it. I really am. When it came, you know, my daughter, she's that model now, so I make sure that I'm everywhere with her, just to make sure everything goes right.
Right.
And then with Ben, I want to get him more active because he does want to meet other people that are like him. I would like for him to meet kids that are his age instead of little kids because he's a big kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they understand each other, which is the funny part. You know, yeah, he looks big, but his mentality is probably 10 or 11 years old. You know, does he know the difference between right and wrong? Now he does. Back then he didn't. I used to be scared that he really did. We used to leave Walmart, he should just start without even looking. So, and then when I saw that, I was like, he's going to get hit one day. So we're going to practice, and we always practice. Even till now, because I just want to see how he does when we go to Kroger's. I'm like, what do you do? He goes, Mom, I know. I go, well, show me. Okay, I'm supposed to stop. Look both ways, no cars, then just go. I'm like, okay. You know, I go, you don't have to be sounding like it's so bad. But I know kids with autism and adults, they want acceptance. And that's what it comes down to because in his eyes, people just think he's weird. And I just tell him, you just have a unique mind.
Yeah.
You know, plain and simple. And with what you're doing, I think that's amazing. I cannot wait to see the outcome of that because this was your guys' first project, right?
Kind of. It's the first project like this.
Guess what? You may have a bigger crowd next year.
We might.
You know, so that's the best thing is when you interact people, especially in the autism world, because I know a lot of friends are like, well, I want to get pictures taken. I want to do this. I want to do that. And, but we see how our kids are, but we never ask the parents, what is autism to you? To me, autism, it's about obstacles. And if you haven't noticed, that's my key word, is obstacles.
Yeah.
You know, autism to me is obstacles to show our kids what they could do. We can't teach our kids. I mean, we could teach our kids, but our kids are teaching us of what they are capable of doing.
Right.
You know, and if they want to be an astronaut, hey, let them be that astronaut. If they want to be a model, let them be a model. If they want to work in a veterinarian hospital, let them do that. Let them show us what they're capable of doing, because if we do it for them, it's us turning our kids in what we want them to be. And is that a good thing? No. We want our kids to show us what they could do.
And who they want to be.
And who they want to be. Because can they be the president? Oh, yes, they can. They could be. Would it be funny? Yes and no. But I mean, hey, I believe God gave us these kids for a reason. And sometimes, because I know a lot of parents, especially moms, well, why did God do that to us? We have too much on our plate. The way I see it, because God was showing me something. God needed me to see something that I did not know what I needed to see until then. Still learning that. Still learning that process. Okay, what am I supposed to learn out of this? But Ben just has showed me I could do anything. And that's what it's about. He got that job. Granted, I helped him, but it's okay. But he loves it. He's excited to get to work. He feels like he's becoming more of a man. And he's becoming like his brothers and sisters. His brother and sister. Because that's the one thing he wants so much, is to be like them, is to have a relationship, to go to work, to drive. But I told him we'll work on that driving because, I'm kind of scared of that. And that's something normal for all parents with kids with autism. We are scared with certain things because we don't know how society is. And that is the one thing. Society is very scary. It can be very, very scary, because do we want our kids to have friends? Yes. But what kind of friends do we want them to have? Because there are so many different stories that have not been good for our kids with autism. So we want them to do right. We want them to be better than what we can be, if that makes sense. In different things. But I have all three of my kids are my pride and joy, and they all know that. They really do. There's different type of love for each one. But with Ben, for example, when Ben got a job, I was so ecstatic. I really was. So I was like, oh, I got him like a little gift or two. My daughter, she kind of felt, she goes, well, I didn't get one. I go, but you kind of, because I told her, I go, because I knew you could get a job. You don't, it's just how you are. You've had 2 or 3 jobs. You got them on your own. I go, with Ben, I've had to help to push him, to help him, like, this is what you're going to do. I go, can you get dressed on your own? Yes. Can you walk in and just say, hey, how are you doing? Yes. What does Ben have? She goes, Mama, you're right. She goes, we have to push him. We have to tell him what to say. I go, so I was like, do you understand the concept of why I'm so excited for him? It's not because he can't do it, but because this is something major. This is a milestone. Another milestone. She goes, Mom, you're right. She goes, okay. She goes, yeah, all right, let's go Five Below. Let's go get some treats for him. So I had to explain it because I didn't want her to feel like I loved the other one a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she is my only girl. She is what we call the princess. But she had to, but she had to understand. Her and her brother are able to go out there and do it on their own. Ben is not able to. I have to push him almost where he's halfway to be. And once she realized that, she kind of understood where I've been coming from. And she's like, my brother's growing up. I go, yeah. She goes, but I don't want him to grow up. You know that to me because it's always been those three, no matter what. And they're, you know, it's she you know, I call her my little mama bear too because she is that mama bear as well. She doesn't care how tall you are. She doesn't care how big you are. You mess with her brother, oh, it sounds like Donkey Kong. And the school has called me for that for her. Because, you know, he did get bullied. And I mean, she's what, 5'4", you see her. And she went to the freshman level and found out who was bullying her brother. He goes, well, I didn't know he was autistic. And she goes, doesn't matter. You don't bully anyone. What, just to make you happy? And they had to call security, and then they called me, and I was like, okay. But I could never be mad at my kids for sticking up for something that they believed in.
No.
And she was one of them. And Ben has always seems like Ben has always made an impact in people's life, and what they have and what he has done or what he has said, because he did graduate from Wagner, and his teachers will come up to Shirley Ann and always ask how he's doing. I don't know if they do that. I don't know if it's because, you know, she's still going there, but even his teachers will call. One of his teachers will call just to make sure how he's doing. So Ben has left those marks on these teachers, and that makes me feel good. It's like, okay, he left a small impact. I'm like, Ben, how does that make you feel? I don't know. I guess okay. I'm like, so yes, with kids with autism and adults, they're very blunt, and yeah, they could get you in trouble.
A little bit. Yeah.
But like I said, I wouldn't change Ben for nothing. I wouldn't change how my family is with him. Like I said, Sergio has always been that protector, and Shirley has been that little mama bear since they've been small. But in all due respect, just because you can't see it, you cannot see autism, and that's the one thing I wish we could all see at times, but unfortunately we can't see it. Is never, when you see a child who has a meltdown, never think it's because they're a spoiled brat. If a child is just having a rough day, you know, in school, you don't always want to assume things because that's not always the case. It really isn't. And I mean, we've had so many meltdowns with Ben, it's not even funny. And at one point I did get mad. I got really, really mad. And we're at an Easter, I think it's Lexington, they did an Easter parade.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I think that's where they do it. And he got his feelings hurt, so he had a meltdown because they were throwing candies and he didn't get none. All of the little kids kept, you know, getting it. And one parent's like, boy, is he a selfish little brat. So my head did a 360. I go, first of all, my son has autism. And at the moment, he is having a meltdown. And I think what you said is kind of rude. Your little brat just keeps running. You know, I ended up And then once I said what I said, I go, you know what? I don't need to explain nothing to you because every child's completely different. So what we did is me and the three kids, we just went another way, and we got where we could get candy. And the worst, sometimes it's not the kids, it's the adults.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why? Why say something mean about a kid when you don't know what's going on? And I had to, even with that, I had to learn a lot because my son, because Sergio used to be like, he used to see my face get really upset. He's like, Mama, please don't say nothing.
He knows where this is going, huh?
He knows where it's going. But again, I really, like, even my husband is like, oh, Lord, don't, please. I go, no. He goes, and my husband finally said, he goes, Jackie, you can't stop everyone for being mean. He goes, they don't know any better. They have no common sense. He goes, but at the end of the day, you have to understand. You know who your child is. You know you've done a good job raising him. You know that doesn't matter what anyone says, you're going to be that protector for him. And make sure people know who he is. He goes, you will always be his voice. No matter if it's now, when he's 20, 30, 40, you will be his voice. And that's what you need to understand. You're not going to let anyone do harm to Ben. And that's what I realized. He was right. I can't get mad at everything that everyone says. And I was his voice in middle school. I was his voice in high school. And I'll be his voice. Because our kids with disability deserves to be treated as equal too. You know, just because they're in a wheelchair, but they have feelings. They have a voice. We may not be able to hear it, but they have a voice, and that's when us parents need to say, hey, I'm his voice or her voice. And you have to have that love, that unconditional love for all of your kids. And Ben, oh my goodness, oh boy, you see it. I mean, I can actually say from all three, he's my mini-me. He's the one that looks like me.
He does.
Yes.
He does. Don't worry, we'll show you guys a pic. But yeah, he does.
Yes, and you could tell when we did the Curse for Cause, he was so nervous. He wasn't worried. And I had to tell him, because I'm proud of who you are. I'm proud of being an autism mom. I'm proud to see everything that you have overcome. And for people to say, these kids, they don't know nothing. They know a lot more than you realize. And their brain is so unique and so different. And that's what I love about it. You know, I was like, do you want to change him? Why? I call them my normal kids because they don't have autism. And, but, you know, you have that autism puzzle, but Ben is our puzzle. Ben, sometimes we don't know where Ben fits. Like, we don't know where we all fit at times.
That's true. Yeah.
Sometimes we think, oh, we're the I will never say my family's perfect because we're not perfect. To everyone else, they may say, she has her, everything's is amazing because we work at it. But I would never say my family's perfect because we all have our faults still. I still have even as a mom, being a mom for 21 years, I still have my faults. I still have to remember, I'm still learning as a mom. You know, as a parent, you can never say your job is done. You are always learning about your kids. I mean, my mom's still learning about me, and I just turned 40 in January. You know, because we think we know so much about our kids, but I feel like our kids are the ones that are teaching us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And my kids will always have a story. And Ben will always have a story. And he will always have obstacles. And when that journey, that journey will never end for him. He has a long journey ahead. And when I mean that, he has a story. And that story is going to go far. And I want him to know that. I really do. I'm going to get emotional.
She hasn't done that already. No, but it really does sound like, just listening to you, I can hear how he has progressed and evolved and grown so much already. I mean, I've really learned a lot sitting here talking with you. Like I said, this project itself has taught me a lot. But just listening to you talk about him and your family, because I mean, obviously that has had an impact in everything. So I definitely want to thank you for coming out, for talking with us.
Awesome. I enjoyed it.
Good.
I'm going to go home and blush on him. I'm going to be like, I love you. He's going to be like, Mom.
I see a Facebook post coming already.
I know. I love him. I mean, I love all three of my kids, but this one, yeah. You know, he wants to go to school. I'm thinking of letting him try it.
Why not?
He could do anything.
Yeah. I mean, as much as he's overcome the obstacles he's overcome, it definitely sounds like it would be something good.
Yes. And I'm gonna let him do what, if a chef is what he wants to be, I'll let him go for it. So when the time comes, everyone, he opens up a restaurant, because that's what he really wants to do.
He wants to open a restaurant.
He wants to open up a restaurant.
You know what? I am down to come through. I'm not eating any octopus, but I'm down to come through and try it out. The other stuff on the menu, not octopus, but some other stuff on the menu.
Yeah, see, that's one of his dreams. He wants to open up his own restaurant.
I dig it, man. I definitely, I'm even outside of the project, I'm sure we'll keep in touch. So
most definitely.
I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are going to go ahead and get her out of here before she gets emotional. Look out for her Facebook post, because it's coming. And we'll also add her name so that you guys can add her. And if you are someone who has someone in your life that has autism, Jackie here obviously has some people that she knows that can help you out. She can be a person that helps you out.
Yes.
So keep an eye out. And
autism rocks. You know that?
I'm learning that more and more every day.
Autism rocks. It really does.
It's really just a different way of processing information from the sound of it. Like not to lessen it or slight it in any way, but it really just, I mean, it seems like that's the biggest thing is, you know, people with autism have a different way of processing information.
Yes.
Even the sensory overload, you know, they process it maybe more, you know, acutely, you know, which is why they're so sensitive to it. It could be something along those lines.
Yes.
So like I said, this has really taught me a lot. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. I enjoyed. Bye.
Y'all take care.